Re-
Welcome to AI Morning Club, everyone. We've got some fantastic guests presenting today. We have a couple of our hosts from a couple of our chapter leads, I should say, from Ignite Mastermind, Danielle Reed and Vasio Smith. Welcome, everyone. Glad you could join us all here on a Friday. I'm just going to pass it over to Danielle. Welcome on board, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Danielle Reed. Vasio, I see his video is not on right now, but he's here as well. We are the Atlanta chapter leads, and we actually just met Wednesday night, and I didn't take one single picture. So I'm going to do better about that, but we will be, I know that the Ignite members have access to our Facebook group, and we'll post our next meetup there. But we have an Ignite Atlanta Facebook group. So we don't post there very often unless we have something going on. And our next meeting is the last Wednesday of January, and we have not got the location. So you're welcome to hop in there, and we'll definitely post it when we figure out that location. But I am going to share my screen. Is that okay, Richard?
Definitely should be. You may need to ask it for permission, but let me just see how that comes through.
Okay. Yeah, send request.
Yeah, you should be good for right now.
All right. All righty. So today I'm going to talk about Opus Clip, and I am actually in handicap accessible real estate, and I couldn't really think of things that you guys would really care about. So since we just did our AEO workshop with Qasim and Perry, Qasim talked about the importance of making videos and splitting them apart. My background, I was a brain and spinal cord injury nurse for 20 years. So I'm not super techy. And the biggest thing that is terrifying to me in this marketing world is making videos. And so this like actually put me in a position to go ahead and jump into some uncomfortable waters here with that because I don't really know what to do with videos and how to make those shorts and whatnot. So there's a couple softwares I'm going to talk about today. Opus Clip is going to be the primary, but I'm also going to compare it to CapCut and to Descript. And I've played around with, I guess, a little bit with all of these. So I'll end with the comparisons and whatnot, but I'm going to start with some Opus Clip. So this is the reason this was so attractive to me is because this is a really quick, easy tool to move your long content into short content. And it gives you virality scores. And I guess, well, I'll get into that in a little bit too, but it's really important to go through the videos that it gives you because the one that it says might be the best might not be the one that you think is the best. So is what Opus Clip does is it uses AI to find hook moments, emotional peaks, clear takeaways, and strong speaker moments. So it will add captions, it detects faces. Uh-oh. And I think the face detection is something new. I used this a couple years ago and I don't recall it being able to do that. Okay, I got that gone. But sometimes these come out beautiful, and for the most part, they're a really good way to just get started, and then you have to edit a little bit. I know that Coach Deb, when we did the 24-hour marathon for Black Friday, she did touch on Opus Clip, but didn't really get into the editing and whatnot too much. So it's going to start with pricing, and I'm going to share this Google Doc with you guys when we're done, so no worries about any of that. And there's some links on here that you can go to that'll go right to the site between the pricing app and some of the learning resources. But Opus can be a free tool. 60 credits a month, and for each one credit is basically 1 minute. So you can upload your videos for free on here up to an hour. And it'd be better if I could go straight to their pricing thing. It's easier to see in a line. So you can get a free membership. There's a starter plan that's $15 a month. There is a pro plan and a business plan. And there's a few differences with the whole situation of for if you have your starter plan, then your credits will carry over for 60 days. If you have a yearly plan, then the credits will carry over throughout the whole year, and they basically bulk those into a year plan. You get some watermark removals as you move up. You get some extra AI features and whatnot. So here is your free plan. I think that that's the main thing on this. So here's a little bit about in this Google Doc that has some things about the pricing, how credits are actually used. That's what I was talking about with the 1 credit equals about 1 minute of video, the carryovers. Um, so the neat part of all of this is you can upload any kind of link, and I did try all these out. So you can go to a YouTube video and you can go straight to, and I put Cosm up here because I love him. But you can basically just go in here and when you share your videos, you just copy your link and you can put it right into Opus. This is what your home screen is going to look like when you go to it. This is where you drop your links. I also did a video with that I recorded on a Zoom meeting, and you can take that link and put it straight into here. And I'll just go down some of these features on the side. This is mainly your account information. It does give you the ability to do thumbnails with these links that you can put in, and it'll generate those for you. Your home screen. I'll go through how you put in there's some instructions in the Google Doc as well, but like basically a little SOP to get these generated. There's templates. So you can build your brand template and have the same thing every time. You can have an intro, you can have an outro, you can decide what your aspect ratio, how you want that to be. You can add your logo to these, so you can have overlays. You can actually do automated logos, but CapCut or Opus Clip does not do that for you. So you'd have to go over to, I know Shauna Stevenson loves her Cling, and that's probably the best option for the fanciest logo, but you can also do it in Canva. So here are some of the AI features. Remove your filler words, remove pauses, keyword highlighters, emojis. You kind of got to watch how the emojis come into play because sometimes they don't exactly fit. Same thing with your B-roll creation. And then you can pick what kind of transitions you want in here. So you can basically set your template to do this. But while you are in here editing, you can change any of these things up in the moment. So if you don't love your colors, you can change those as you go through as well. So that is the branding side. You can come in here to decide what curse words you want to show up and what you don't want it, what you want to be bleeped out. You can add actual bleeps to it. You can do automatic scheduling, so you can schedule your posts automatically. You can do them immediately if you're uploading them. Let me see. I'm gonna get stuck here. And then you can upload your own font. It was kind of interesting though. I don't know if I got my font about 15 years ago, so I don't know if my format is off, but it would not take my font. And then here's where you add your social accounts. So this is helpful to go ahead and set this up on this side. So when you auto schedule, it asks where all you want to publish your videos. And then let me go back to my doc and make sure I'm not skipping over anything. So I actually put in an 18-minute video and it gave me 24 clips. 10 to 20, it gave me a little bit more than that. And then it was kind of weird. I put in an hour-long video and got about the same amount of clips. Um, Virality scores based on hook strength, engagement density, pace, emotional impact, and audience retention models. I'm not sure what the audience retention models really means. But again, don't blindly go by the score. I have found that if you move down the line with some of these videos, you'll find that the third one or the fourth one that has a 93% score might be a little bit better even to you than the 99% score. One thing that's changed is it used to be a take it or leave it. Now you have a lot more editing control. Uh, I did do an example of the facial tracking as well. That was pretty neat. So these are the things that you can change in your editing side, your font, your color, your style, your placement. Placement goes to the bottom, to the top, or to the middle. Your brand kits, and then you're exporting. If you have a free account, you only have about 3 days to get your videos out of there. So when you have paid plans, you have a longer amount of time to deal with your videos and play with them. So the way this works is you upload a link into here, and I will just do Casim's video. So this goes in first, and I've seen a range of time that it takes to get this initial video in here, but that actually went really quick. I had one that took a really long time. It took like 20 minutes just to get this part in yesterday. But it'll tell you how many credits you use. When you do automatic posting, I saw one that goes to Twitter or X rather now, and it cost a credit. So there are a little bit of credit usages that happen with some of that auto scheduling. And then you have your AI clipping, or this will go like as more of a manual style. This processing time frame. So in here is what I'm going to write is find the viral moment. The processing time can be changed, and the place that the way this would come into practice would be if you wanted to shorten this on the front end or the back end where you put an intro or outro, you are going to use less credits. And then you pick your template. You have the ability also to go straight to the editing mode from this screen. And then we are going to get clips in one click. So now we see this loading over here. This actually does take a longer amount of time to load up. So there was one last night that took a really long time. Again, sometimes you're going to get them in 8 minutes or so. So I'm not going to wait for this one to come up right now, but I'm going to go to another one that I was working on. And this video was made when I was kind of first in Ignite, and I don't know if some of you guys have had this problem where, just stop this for a second and I'll come back to it. But I don't know if some of you have had the problem of being completely overwhelmed by all of the amazing workshops and content that Perry teaches in Ignite. But when I started, I would start one thing and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is so amazing." And then I would jump to the next thing as soon as he started the next workshop because that was just as amazing. And so I was having a whole bunch of half-finished projects and I was getting very overwhelmed. So that video actually was in the middle of all that confusion. If we have any ClickFunnels junkies in here, then some of you guys might know Mike Schmidt. But he had some things in here that I thought were really awesome just for the general, like for all of us to listen to. So this is where you go in and you get your results. So here's your virality score, 99, 96, 94. These actually were pretty good on his. So here was 99.
If you are going to be focusing on the bots, it sounds like you already are. It's like stop building bots, start selling them. the end. Like, because then guess what happens when you sell one? You have to start building it, and then guess what? You're back to where you're at right now, which is building bots. If you are gonna be focusing on the bots,
Uh-oh. So this is what it looks like when you go into your editing screen. It gives you your number over here. You get A, B, C ratings based on your hook, flow, value, and trend. I will say that Descript is so much easier to deal with as far as transcription is concerned, but Descript is a little bit more difficult to learn. This one has been fairly easy to deal with, and I hear CapCut's pretty easy as well. This one's really good to just pop your video in and get a bunch of shorts. The CapCut is also easy to put all your content in, but it's a little more manual with the process and editing. And then Descript is just got a little bit of a learning curve. But when you can get that down, it's really that transcription thing is fantastic. And you can hover, you can highlight things and then just delete, and it seamlessly just puts that video together. It's fantastic. But in here, you go to edit clip. You can, all of your editing tools are over here on the side. And this seems to be set up in the same way that the other ones are with you, where you have your layers. So I've added in my logo on my branding kit. That stays here forever, unless I change it. And then you're clipping this the same way that you're clipping in CapCut, and I think that that's how we're clipping in Descript too. Transitions can be built in or changed. So we can come over here on this side here. So under AI enhancement, this is where you can remove your filler words or your pauses or um, any of these other things that we're doing on this AI side. When you're generating your B-roll, some of that doesn't do so well. So that's kind of interesting, but there is a way to do it automatically and there's a way to put prompts in. And I did find that going back to ChatGPT and asking it for prompting specifically for this platform was really helpful. So just remember when you're dealing with AI in general, and I know most of you already know this because you're this is a pretty advanced group, but on a little bit more of the beginner, not so techie nurse side of things, going back to your Claude or your Chat GPT or whatever you're dealing with, and just asking it what you should do is kind of will get you out of trouble if you get stuck. You can deal with your captions directly in here, so you can pick their templates, you can change the colors, your branding template, your B-roll. So here's your tracker. If you want to track your subject, it's going to come in here and say, hey, here is who I want to track. You just press your button with that, and your video adjusts and moves as it's playing. Let me go. I'm not going to stick in that one because I do have one that is an example of that. But, and man, 30 minutes go fast. We're like already. Let me just save my changes. Let's see if I can move from that. So this was another I was starting to, let's see, edit and was coming in here to with this stuff. So on our edit side, so up here are basic things. We can click on our logo if we want to move that. I don't know where it went. It's freezing. Vertical, and then you can move your cropping around however you like to move it. just go down the sides of these and play with all of them because, of course, on a live feed, it's not working as easily as it did. We'll go back to our original. Or you can reset if you don't like what you've done. Now I don't know where all my stuff went. But just run down the sides of these. I know our time is a little bit short and it's a lot of information, but just run down the sides of these and play with everything. And it's pretty easy to figure out. If I promise if I can figure out some of this stuff, you can figure it out too. But let me come back over here and show you a little bit of this these comparisons. So some places that this is really powerful is podcasts because you can turn your long episodes into shorts. Same with webinars, interviews, testimonials, YouTube videos, course content. And when you're putting this in on the initial page, then you will be able to pick which of these you have. Let's go back to my beginning page. Changes may not be saved. I got my faces all over this. So when you're on your home screen and you're putting in your videos, we'll go back to our CASM. Clip, don't clip is up here, I believe. So clip mode, auto, clip anything. This is where you can go in and you can tell it what you have. So you can do your talking head, your interview, you can pick it out, or you can just let AI pick it. And then supported formats, processing time. This is definitely going to vary depending on what you're putting in there. Some tips and limitations of this. Audio quality matters. It's really interesting. Like I have a microphone and I have looked at these with just recording them on a regular Zoom, and I've had some echo and some bounce back and such on some of these where I didn't use my microphone. Controversial content clips, the best lectures, avoid rapid fire topic switching, technical jargon may be miscaptioned, so be sure to go back and edit everything, and then just be sure that this is not your final cut, that you just go back and look at everything before you do this. So I've got instructions in here as well. For advanced users, I'm not that. So I am not bulk uploading an entire back catalog because I don't have an entire back catalog to upload. But for those of you that do, it sounds like this could be a decent tool to create a whole bunch of videos at once. Here's a little blurb about how to create your clips. Haven't got my detailed instructions in here yet, but comparison. So Opus Clip, CapCut, Descript, this is all in here. It's going to take too long to go through each of these, but these are what they have, what they're best for, how difficult, easy it is to use, and this has kind of been accurate for what I've tried. Finds clips automatically on automation. We're going to do some manual use on CapCut, and then a little more time intensive on Descript. Accuracy. Yeah, I did have to change some things with this, and then on the Descript side, the transcription services are so awesome. Editing precision, B-roll automation. We don't have B-roll automation. There is some API capacity for this, but it's only from what I've seen Zapier on Opus Clip. Formatting. And this is just so much here, but I'm going to share this doc. And that is mostly it. When should you use Opus Clip? When you're worried about speed over perfection. You get a lot of clips really quickly. CapCut is pretty professional looking. You have a lot of control. And then Descript is podcast editing, YouTube long form editing. I think that a lot of this comes from that transcription service I'm talking about. That is so fantastic to use. And then I just dropped in a quick step by step to go to Canva and automate your logo if you would like to add that in. And Shauna, I don't know if she's done a clean presentation or not, but if she hasn't, she needs to. So you can get some pretty advanced animations on your logos. And that is about it. I would love to hear from you guys about your experiences. I know we don't have very much time left, but what is the best to use for beginners? What has been your experience with some of these?
Oh, we've got Kenneth coming up. Let me just pin you. And you just need to unmute yourself, Kenneth. Just in the, oh, there we are.
Yep. Thank you for sharing that information with us. For someone who's telling us she's not techie, you sound kind of techie. uh, but my question is, when it comes to shorts versus long reels, is there a definite cutoff? I know from a marketing standpoint, you're supposed to keep it below a certain number, but is there a definite cutoff with respect to having a short versus a long reel?
So as far as capacity of uploading, and I don't think this is quite the question you're asking, but I'm going to throw this in there with the answer.
Okay.
But Opus Clip, you can put in up to 120 minutes. And then you guys probably are way bigger experts on this than I am, but I believe that an official short video is less than 60 seconds to be able to
Okay.
include it in that to move over to YouTube.
Yep. And if you could, I was just wondering if you could maybe just do a top level view of your workflow. Stuff that you just went through. It was a lot for me at least. Maybe you could summarize that real quickly
I'm
before we
gonna
get
give
off.
you, let me give Richard, and Richard, can I just put the link
Yeah,
in
if
the
you just drop it
chat?
in chat, that would be absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Okay. I didn't get my step by step done on my editing, but this is a live doc and I can add it for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your
You're
time.
welcome. And
All right.
there was another thing that I didn't transfer over that was step by step to deal with clean, to do more of the animated front and end if that's what you wanted to do with your logo. So
Perfect.
I'll transfer that over to this doc as well.
Awesome. We've got a couple of people raising their hands. Are you good for time, Danielle? Or
Sure.
fantastic. We've got Dr. Jim coming up.
Hey, Danielle, thanks for this. Do you have anybody specific that you're following to learn Opus Clip or that you could recommend?
No, not anybody specifically, but I will say that all of these softwares and whatnot, they all have their own channels. And I have found that just going straight to the source has been the best way for me to learn things. And they all also have free access to help, like their help docs. And there is a link under pricing on my Google Doc that goes straight to this one as far as the Learning Center is concerned. So I have found that going between their content that they're creating and then even taking that and talking with Claude or talking with GPT or talking with whatever model that you're using, you can get through almost anything by bouncing between those two.
Great, thanks.
And we have one more question from the AI Godfather. Let me just pin you up in the chat there. There we are.
Danielle, that was a excellent presentation. I've got a couple of questions. Most of my or everybody's questions will probably be answered when they review the doc that you're going to give us, which will be great. With respect to your experience, as far as the creating the shorts is concerned, do you have the option of saying once you upload a video, how many shorts you want to break it up into?
No, you in Opus Clip, you just get what you get. And so it's
Very
been
good.
a variation from what I've seen where I've put a shorter video in and gotten a bunch of clips out. And then I put a longer video in and not gotten as many. And my guess is that has more to do with how good the content is. Like maybe there's
Absolutely
a bunch
correct. You're
of
100% correct. That's why
yeah,
I
maybe there's a
answered my
bunch of
question short.
filler,
Yes. Now,
yeah, and
that
things in there
said,
that aren't important.
um, let's on the same subject, you had the experience. When you look at the competition, I'm going to assume, because I understand all this stuff, that the competitors do it the same way. I don't think that you're going to find any that'll be able to, because of the content, and you're 100% on target with that. Um, my other question, I believe, let me see here. Okay. You've used I believe you said three programs by now, at least three for this. What is it?
For
CapCut?
Opus,
No, similar programs. Call it their competitors. Okay, that's what I want you to focus on.
okay.
So, what I'm hearing from you, and I've processed, is that each one of the competitors structure their platform different. There'll be some similarities. We don't need to talk about those. For instance, without getting into any specificity, do you agree with that statement? Each
Yeah,
one of the platforms, for instance, the what I've noticed, and I never thought about it until you said it, when you have the free programs, they set a limit on how much time that you have with the video, which sort of forces you
upgrade.
to yes, yes, that's their strategy. The other thing that I noticed was the way they do credits. A lot of them are similar, but they don't necessarily. So when people say which program is the best to use, that question really can't be answered because it depends on the platform and your experience, which you did articulate to someone here. So I'll have to play with. I'm trying to well, I have put together a structure based on the presentations that you give and others, because now I know what I want to do with my app. This is an application, sort of, that nobody can really understand unless they understand the things that you learn from uh, using the program itself. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The other questions that I have will be resolved when I dissect your document. I appreciate you.
I think the comparison is really helpful because it does depend on what you're using it for and what your purpose is. You know, what is your strategy? Are you a blogger? Are you a podcaster? You know, what is your strategy? What are you doing? And as far as using these tools, I have used I think it's kind of similar to CRMs and different funnel builders and whatnot. I think that if you know how to use one, you can figure it out. There's definitely some differences, but just to have a little bit of that knowledge makes using all of the other ones a lot easier. Um, my
Danielle, when you
experience
say
is
you think, you're 100% correct. Your
okay.
thinking is, I will affirm your thinking is right on point.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm on the right track.
Fantastic. I think that's all the questions that we have for the moment. So thank you, Danielle, for a fantastic presentation. For
Well,
everyone,
thank you for having me.
well, no, thank you for taking the time, and thank you to everyone in our audience for being here today. We'll be back on Monday with Perry. So yeah, have a fantastic weekend, everyone, and I'll talk to you all very soon.